You know that feeling, right? You're on a team, everyone is incredibly talented, but for some reason, you just can't seem to get the win. It's a super common story, and the reason often comes down to this hidden dynamic, the powerful and often invisible influence of the team's leader. So, yeah, why is that? Why do some of these brilliant teams fall flat, while others just seem to knock it out of the park every single time? Well, that's the big question we're going to dig into. And I'll tell you right now, the answer isn't about skill or resources. It's about the single most important relationship in any team, the one between the team members and their leader. That relationship is the whole story. More specifically, it's the leader's influence within the wider organization that holds the key. And what's wild is that this isn't some newfangled idea. It's a concept that's been around for decades, but it's still probably the most overlooked factor when it comes to team success. Let's rewind the clock for a second. Way back, more than half a century ago, a researcher named Pelz stumbled onto something huge. He discovered that a leader's effectiveness wasn't just about how well they managed their own team. No, it was all about how much influence the team believed their leader had with the higher-ups. It was all about perception. And of course, this incredibly powerful phenomenon got named after him. It's called the Pelz Effect. And let me tell you, understanding this is a total game changer for anyone who leads a team or is even just part of one. So let's break it down. Here it is in a nutshell. The more influence a team thinks their leader has with senior management, the better that team performs. It's that direct. It's got nothing to do with their actual job title, but everything to do with their perceived ability to make things happen and go to bat for the team. And this just puts it perfectly, doesn't it? It gets to the heart of this subconscious calculation we all make about our boss. We're constantly asking ourselves, can you protect me? Can you get us the resources we need? Can you actually fight for our interests when you're in those meetings we're not invited to? If the gut feeling is yes, we are all in.
Pelz's research really zeroed in on some key things here. When we believe our manager has real influence, we find what they tell us to be more credible. That naturally makes us more engaged. And when we actually see them use that influence to advocate for us, our job satisfaction just skyrockets. It becomes crystal clear that our direct manager is our primary window into the entire organization.
So, if the Pelz effect is so powerful, you've got to wonder, why don't more organizations lean into it? Well, the simple answer is that some workplace cultures seem almost designed to work against it. They systematically, and maybe even accidentally, strip managers of their influence. A really simple way to think about these cultures is this red, green, and blue bus idea. Red bus cultures are aggressive and top-down. Their mindset is, change is something we do to them. Green bus cultures are passive and avoidant. Change is something that is done to us. And then you have the blue bus, which is constructive and collaborative. Change is something we do together. I think you can guess which two are absolutely awful for a leader's influence. And you can really see the contrast right here. On the left, you've got those influence-killing behaviors you see in red and green bus cultures, playing the victim, blaming higher-ups, shutting down ideas. When a leader does that, they are basically shouting to their team, I have no power here. But on the right, blue bus leaders do the exact opposite. They build up their influence by taking responsibility and championing their team. Red bus organizations are masters of this self-sabotage. They'll give managers all the responsibility, but none of the actual authority. They'll keep them out of the loop on big changes. They'll ignore the concerns they bring up. What happens? Employees have to go around their boss to get real information, which just makes that leader look powerless and totally irrelevant. It completely destroys the Pelz effect. But it does not have to be this way. The solution is to get really intentional about creating a blue bus culture, one that actually understands the Pelz effect and actively works to make it stronger. Yeah, see, blue bus organizations don't just leave this stuff to chance. They make deliberate choices to empower their leaders at every single level, because they know that this is the secret. This is how you unlock the full potential and performance of your teams. So how do they do it? Well, first off, they grant authority that actually matches responsibility. Groundbreaking, I know. They make sure support departments like HR and finance work with managers, not against them. And this is so crucial. When a leader raises an issue for their team, management listens and they respond. And finally, they give them the autonomy and resources to make things better. These actions prove to the team that their leader has a voice that matters. Now, this is never more important than during times of big organizational change. This is the ultimate test, the final exam, for a leader's influence and for the health of the entire culture.
When everything's up in the air, employees look straight to their direct leader. They're looking for cues, for information, for just a little bit of reassurance. That leader becomes the filter through which all the corporate messages are processed. If that link is weak, the whole change initiative is basically doomed from the start.
Blue Bus organizations totally get this. They communicate change through their leaders, never around them. They make sure leaders really understand the why behind it all. They give them time to process it personally, and they arm them with complete information so they can answer their team's questions with confidence. They build their leaders up as credible, trusted sources of truth. So, the most important thing to remember is this. Creating a high-performance culture isn't about some massive top-down strategy. It really comes down to the thousands of tiny choices made by leaders every single day, and the systems that either support them or tear them down. It's all about consciously choosing to build influence instead of just giving it away.
And that leaves us with one last question to think about. Whether you're a CEO or a brand new team member, in your daily interactions, in your actions, are you helping to create a culture that empowers its leaders and their teams? Or are you, maybe without realizing it, undermining it? The choice and its impact is so much bigger than you think.